Alrighty, hello guys, and welcome to another Christmas universe. As today we are going to be reviewing the Top of the Pops Christmas special from 1994, which is actually, funny enough, another Christmas special that is very likely to make a return to BBC4 as part of the Christmas special repeats that BBC4 will have for Christmas 2023. So without further ado, let's get in and take a look at some of the highlights that made Top of the Pops' Christmas in 1994, shall we? So let's take a look. Now, of course, before we continue, make sure to like and subscribe, by the way. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content and so you can support the channel so we can do more Christmas universes in the year, every Christmas, obviously every November and December. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Top of the Pops Christmas special from Christmas Day 1994. Now, 1994 was actually a pretty decent year for the boy bands, being East 17 and Take That. Both have had successful both had some successful hits during the year. So I thought we'll take a look at some of the songs as as you saw in the 1995 review that we did a few weeks ago, well, roughly about a week or so ago. Basically, they were basically doing this whole concept of basically looking back at the music from each month, from January all the way to December, or all the way to November, revealing that year's Christmas number one. So without further ado, we begin with Derail with his song Things Can Only Get Better, which was the first new hit to get to number one in 1994. It was a big hit for him. It was his number one hit for January. Big tune for him, of course. And then, of course, that led to Charles Dempson and Pillars with their version of Twist and Shout, which is a Beatles track that's now got a bit of a reggae sort of style to it. And then we have K7 with Come Baby Come, which is basically just this one-off band that had basically had a chance to shine on Top of the Pops during February of 1994. And then we have Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting coming together to do a song for the Three Musketeers movie called All for Love, which did have some success, but it didn't get to number one, unfortunately. And then we have Mariah Carey with Without You. That was one of her big hits during the year that did very, very well. And then we have Enigma with Return to Innocence. That was their big hit for the year. Toni Braxton with Breathe Again. That was her big hit in 94. Then we have Celine Dion, The Power of Love, which was her take on the song. Obviously had some success during the year. And then we have Dupe with their song Dupe, which also was a number one hit at the time. Ace of Base with The Sign, which was one of their hits that year. Bruce Springsteen with The Streets of Philadelphia, which was obviously one of his big hits that year. And then Real to Real with I Like to Move It, another big hit of 94. Tony D. Barnes with The Real Thing, which also was a big hit that year. Prince with The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, that was a number one hit. Along with Take That's very own Everything Changes. By the way, Take That were the presenters of the show, so essentially it was kind of funny to also see some of their music in there, as of course they are also the presenters of the Christmas 1994 Top of the Pops. And then we have Crash Test Dummies with as their big hit of the year. And then Still Skin with Inside. This was a rock band that also had some success in 94. And then we have Manchester United with Come On You Reds that also got to number one during the summer. And then we have E17 with their first of their big summer hit Around the World. And then we have CJ Lewis with Sweets from My Sweets, which was also a big hit for him. Wet, 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 Love Is All Around. Obviously, the number one that dominated the charts for most of the summer, because obviously Wet, Wet, Wet were a huge deal with this tune. And then we have Big Mountain, Baby I Love Your Way, which is also another big reggae song for the year. And then we have Dawn Penny, You Don't Love Me, No, 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 which was another big hit of the summer. The Grid, Swan Thing, another song that was big. All for One, I Swear, big tune of the autumn. And then we have Meet the Flintstones by B-52s. That was based on the Flintstone live action movie. And then we have Odd with Shine, which is another reggae tune that got some popularity that year. And then obviously Take That's second number one of the year, Love Ain't Here Anymore, which was another hit for Take That. And then we have Let Loose, Crazy for You, that was their big top 10 hit of the year. And then we have Red Dragon with Brian and Tony Gold, Compliments on Your Kiss. And then, of course, China Black Searching. These were some big top 10 hits. And then we have the 7 Seconds song, which was also a big hit. And then we have Winfield with Saturday Night, obviously a number one for the autumn. Conninger, The River of the Night, again another big hit. Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey, Endless Love. And then we have Bon Jovi with Always, and Pantamana Baby Come Back. Take That, Sure, another number one hit for Take That. Michelle Gellar's Sweetness. Celine Dion's 90s version of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, which is referred to as Hey Now. And then we have Internal or Baby I. And then we have Sheryl Crow with All I Want to Do. And then we have Baby D with Let Me Be Your Fantasy. This was her first number one and her first hit in the charts before her 95 hit, of course. And then we have another night with the Real McCoys, And then, of course, the Christmas number one ended the show, East 17, Stay Another Day, that dominated the charts for Christmas 1994. And that was their number one hit of 94, which was a big hit for East 17, who dominated the charts for Christmas 94, and that was their number one hit following following their entire year trying to get to number one with all around the world. And then obviously this was their number one hit for the year, of course, which was great for them. So that was a big deal for East 17. They managed to get to number one with Stay Another Day. Big win for East 17. So there you go. That is essentially a glimpse at the many songs that were a part of the biggest selling songs of 94 that were a part of the Christmas 1994 special hosted by Take That, and a way to close out that year for BBC One as they prepare to enter Top of the Pops into 1995, which, by the way, that's the repeats we've been seeing lately have been focusing on 1995, and we're going to be should be moving into 1996 repeats as we enter the new year, which is going to be it's going to be our opportunity to prepare for the for 1990s. For 96, of course. But there you go. That's essentially a glimpse at what Top of the Pops was like during Christmas Day 1994. A chance to look back at some of the big songs of the year to round out the year for Top of the Pops that year. And also the last time they used this logo for Christmas, because, of course, the following year they were going to introduce a new logo for the next 3 years for Christmases before their next shake-up for Top of the Pops. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in my next review, which is going to be Disney's The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which will be in obviously later this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.